All right, guys, welcome to the final lecture. No applause. And before I get started, some of you have assignments that have not been completed. I have graded all of the assignments thus far that have been turned in. So if you've done up to chapter 7, all of your grades are in. If you have questions regarding these grades, you need to email me. All right. Don't text. Don't send me a Facebook message. Email it. There's a reason for this. It needs to be done through JSU email so that way there is a record of it. Because I ain't dealing with he said, she said, and all this. If you have an issue, email me. We'll talk about it. But I'm going to be pretty hard pressed to change a grade. I'm not going to lie. That being said, chapter 8. Dun, dun, dun. Starting off with this is talking about your content. Now, this is geared more towards a blog rather than your professional resume that we're doing, but you do need to know this. And the first thing is called chunking and distilling. Now, it might sound like you're making some fancy dinner, including the hard liquor, but chunking and distilling are actually two major skills required for a good online writer and editor. Chunking refers to breaking information into logical blocks so that the individual pieces can be more efficiently scanned and understood, excuse me, by your audience. You guys will have to forgive me. I'm probably going to yawn quite a bit through this because I had a rough night. We'll just say that. Uh, we've already talked about chunking a little bit, but as journalists, you have to think of this as any quotes, figures, pictures, and so forth. You have to learn how to put things together to convey the story in the best way possible and keeping that story straight with the information get provided. Somebody was having some noise come through, so I had to mute y'all. All right. So with chunking, say you've got photographs and quotes from people on the scene of an accident. You want to put those together over here. And then you talk to the police officer who wrote up the accident report. You can put that right here with all the technical of what happened, what caused the report. Oh, he was texting. Then you can have another chunk over here about the dangers of texting and driving. Again, about the dangers of texting and driving. Don't do it. I got T-boned by somebody texting. And because they had someone in the car with them, both of them lied to the police and said, "Oh, no, I wasn't texting. I wasn't at fault. His light was red. Mine was green." No, my light was green. His was red. He was texting and ran into the side of me. This was 2 years ago, and I'm still bitter about it. So some call it the CMS mindset, believing that online editors need to present stories not as a long block of text, but as discrete little parts here and there. So if there's a logical way to break down the story's content into individual pieces, you need to make sure each individual piece is clearly identified using labels such as headers, subheads, and summaries, and if need be, links to certain things that you're wanting to bring into it. Say you've got a guy that did a study on the dangers of texting and driving. You can link to his study. I don't know what that is. With each of these labels, along with a few more that we'll talk about a little bit here in just a minute, they can be important tools for optimizing your story's presentation online. Second part of this is distilling. The effective online writer or editor needs to be able to distill the essence of a story. All right. Basically, what this means is he or she should be able to create an effective headline of just a few words that captures you, that grabs you. We talk about this with video as well. All of you are familiar with the term clickbait, correct?
Yes, sir.
Ladies?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, clickbait, as horrible as it is, they do it right because they've got a headline up there that's going to grab your attention and make you think, oh, I need to read this. And let's just see right quick as I jump on the Book of the Face. And we'll see. Oh, slow day on Facebook. Thank God, finally. There we go. Mark Zuckerberg says social networks should not be fact-checking political speech. Okay. And this comes on the heels of Trump saying that he wants to shut down Twitter because they fact-checked him. I'm sorry. I think this is garbage here that Zuckerberg is saying, oh no, social media shouldn't be fact-checking, but if you look real close, they are. Facebook is. Because you'll have posts that come up and say, oh, this is not entirely true. So they are indeed fact-checking. But that title, Zuckerberg says social media should not be. That's your clickbait. That is what is catching your attention. That's what's going to make you read an article. All right. But you have to be able to distill the story, the essence of the story, whether it be text-based, video, audio, or whatever, into shorter forms. All right. That's like if you watch regular TV, standard commercial is either 30, 60, or 90 seconds long. Well, you can't do that on the internet. So they have things now called emercials or stingers or sizzle reels that are anywhere from 15 to 20 seconds long. And it's an advertisement and it gets the same point across, it's just smaller. It's more concise. Now, this can be challenging, taking a long story and boiling it down to its essential points. Mark Twain once apologized, saying, I didn't have time to write a short letter, so I wrote a long one instead. Thus, capturing the true challenge of summarizing. Now we're going to backtrack just a little bit. Headlines. This is what we were talking about with clickbait. Now, most of the time, editors will come up with your headline, not always the writer. Sometimes the writer will. Cute little headlines that use different wordplay and everything. Indirect headlines tend to fall flat online. This is where we get into clickbait. When the Gamecock Diner first opened, Chanticleer got roasted because instead of saying the Gamecock Diner opens, it was the Gamecock Dinner. And what a lot of people were roasting them about was because it's a diner, one end, and they put dinner, two ends. But the point they were trying to get across was dinner, go and eat. But what it did, in essence, everybody read the story because that one letter drew them to it. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anna, you awake?
Yes, sorry.
Anna's still reeling over the fact that she was the first one to pick her time slot for next week.
I finally won something.
All right, so if you want to maximize effectiveness, you really need to. You can try experimenting with different keywords to use in your headlines. If you want readers to be able to find your database of home values, it might be better to use the word house, home, property, things like that. You can begin to find the answer to these and such questions with Google AdWords keyword tool. And what that does is it allows you to type in different search terms and find out how many Google searches have been done for a related term. If you was to type in Donald Trump, it would explode because people are searching for dirt on Donald Trump. Let's say you were trying to sell a house in Pueblo, Colorado, and you type in homes in Pueblo and Pueblo homes, but they're not going to come up with the same amount because it's also done in order. Homes in Pueblo are going to show you homes in the city of Pueblo, Colorado. But if you type in Pueblo homes, that may get confusing and look for a style of home, like rancher or whatever, that is Pueblo. Does that make sense? Subheadlines, which is normally placed underneath the headline, can provide more detail to your story. We always assume that in nearly all cases, the user has read the headline before moving to the subheadline. It's generally done in the same font, but smaller, and the subheadline should play off of your headline. Because subheadlines will not be as valuable to search engines as your headlines. It's not as critical to using keywords. It's a good idea to say concise, direct, and detailed as possible. And then you got your summary. And summaries, 1 second. Okay. Summaries, get back over here to my notes. This block of several lines with the main points of the story. All right. So you build it in layers. Now, writing your stories, I'm not going to tell you how to write a story. Here's the reason why. This is something that you have to learn on your own. You have to develop your own style in writing your story. But story organization should begin before you even write the first word of your story. All right. Biggest question is, what are you writing about? And before you can begin writing, you need to be thinking of this. Most stories will have 2, maybe 3 points to them. Some will have 1 general point. But having more than 1 is beneficial. Several basic ways to structure journalistic stories are inverted pyramid, chronological, thematic, and narrative. Now, the inverted pyramid is probably the most used. And everybody knows what a pyramid is. Well, all this is inverted. The inverted pyramid is organized so that the most important information begins at the beginning of the story, in the lead, in your first paragraph. 4 police officers arrested is what we need to see next. The story we just saw is 4 police officers fired. And sorry, I'm giving my own opinion here, but yeah, all 4 of them need to be arrested as well.
Amen.
That's, if you can't trust the police, who the hell can you trust? But
Exactly.
in your first paragraph or 2, the basics, who, what, where, when, why, and how comes first. Then you start trickling it down and getting into more detail of it. Now, although people see the inverted pyramid as something of a dinosaur, it's old, yeah, but it's also effective. Putting the most important information at the very beginning of the story helps draw the scanning users in. That's me. I read headlines, first paragraph. And if it ain't grabbed me by the end of the first paragraph, I move on. Speaking of your paragraphs, a good trait of all journalists is to remember KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Short sentences and paragraphs, you will get your information over quicker by doing that. Now, if you're getting something that is very detailed, you may want to use bullet points. All right. They had him on the ground. He was in handcuffs. The officer had his knee in the back of his neck. Officer had his hands in his pocket. Officer ignored cries for help, saying he cannot breathe. That's the basic general of the story. Now, you guys are going to have to be adapting to different types of media. Over in the past 20, 30 years, this has been huge because we've gone from sitting down at 5 o'clock in the evening, 6 o'clock in the evening, 7 o'clock in the morning and watching the news to being able to go click and there's the news with 24/7 news channels. This is going to keep progressing because now not only is it on television, it's moving to the web and you can find it anytime. So there's a lot that needs to be done to a story that goes from television to online. Because, all right, let's face it. Let's go ahead and squash the elephant in the room. Your generation, and I'm talking 18 to 22-year-olds, your focus, your concentration, and your attention span are damn near non-existent. No offense, but it is. That is why commercials are getting shorter and to the point, because you're not going to keep people's attention for more than 20 seconds. That's why I have to be entertaining when I lecture, because if I'm not, then you guys are going to be over and snoozing. But, and all of you, I don't know if you're old enough yet to realize it, but you'll notice it when you get older, that kids younger than you, that, dear God, they're not going to have an attention span. They are going to be all over the place. The web is a nightmare because people get on there, and how many of you are sitting there doing this, doing this, doing this, and you see that thumb just continually scrolling because you're not seeing anything that's catching your attention, that's grabbing you, pulling you into the story. You've got to be able to do that. 43 people dead. What? That's going to grab you. I'm just kidding. There's not 40. I'm sure there's 43 people dead somewhere, but not right now. Moving on. I've had a little too much coffee this morning, too. Now, writing for news and writing for a blog, two different animals. They have a lot of the same foundations, but the basic structure of blogs, which features links, shorter individual entries, and favors the online reader by aiding in scannability. Again, me. When writing, the blogger needs to keep in mind this modular nature of the blog format, because a blog is made up of a series of postings usually. It's likely the entries will be read separately of each other. So each post should be able to stand by itself, and each post should be succinct and focused. In other words, don't put on there, I ate raisin toast this morning. Nobody gives a crap about your raisin toast. All right? Nobody cares. But if you say, found a great deal on raisin toast at Johnson's today. I like raisin toast. I might want to take advantage of that deal. How much was it? You have to be succinct and precise. All right. Chapter 8. 8. Writing assignment. Practice writing an effective online headline for different types of news stories. Use stories from the newspaper, wire service, or other media. I am going to change this just a little bit, and we're going to see just how many people pay attention and actually watch these, because I want you to write one headline about Trump. I don't care what side you're on. It don't matter to me, because I'm neither pro or con. So you're going to do one on Trump. I want one on what's going on in Minnesota right now, and one on COVID. All right. And I'm going to write them down. So
Is that for our chapter 8 assignment?
yes, 8.1.
Gotcha.
I got to write it down so I remember. So we're saying
So we're
Trump, COVID, and Minnesota.
Do I need to change mine? So I already did it.
No, I'll take care of yours, Brandon. No problem.
So do we also put the link of what the article is, or do you just want the headline?
I just want headlines.
Okay, sounds good.
You just give me boom, 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 done.
So we're not coming up with our own headlines. We're finding headlines.
No, you're coming up with your own.
Oh, okay.
I want you to create your own headline.
Gotcha.
So do we then go create a different headline than the one already created?
Yes.
Okay.
Terry over there grinning. He's like, yep, Trump impeached. Yes. Am I right or wrong?
Well, I mean, to be truly honest, I'm not one who really likes politics that much. So, I mean, so you said one on Trump, one about what's going on in Minnesota, and one about COVID-19?
Correct, sir.
Okay.
All right. So we're good on chapter 8?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Jawohl. Jawohl. Ich bin Highland McMeer. Okay. Yes, I speak a little German. Chapter 9. Dun, dun, dun. Final chapter. In chapter 9, we're talking about curation. You need to know this definition. Trust me, you need to know this definition. An increasing number of online journalism organizations are recognizing curation, which is the gathering, organization, and presentation of existing online content, as an important element of reporting. After I said curation, that is the definition that I want. The gathering, organization, and presentation of existing online content as an important element of reporting. You can leave off the as an important element.
Is that in our book?
It is.
Okay, great.
It certainly is. Right at the top, chapter 9 says curation in big letters, and then it's got that in there.
Nice.
Because I copy and pasted it. All right. So link functions. You may want to use links in your stories online. Just like, where you at? Where you at? There you are. Let me take care of this right quick and get this pulled up so I can show y'all here. Make sure I'm on the right one. No, I am not. There we go. Uno momento, por favor. Ah, yes, I speak a little Spanish too. I know just enough of language to get myself into trouble. That's about it. Okay. There we go. Now we're going back to the share screen. Now you'll remember this is from mine. Now this one here, this is not a link, but this one is. When you click it, it goes to the article about the radio station and me. So that way, now I've clicked it. Now I got to go back into share screen because unfortunately it does not show this. When I click it, it goes to here. So you can have links in your professional resume. Number one, make sure that they work. Do not have a broken link, because if you got a broken link in your professional resume, guess what? You ain't getting the job. I can almost guarantee you that. So make sure before you walk into to an interview that all of the links on your professional resume work. Because if they don't, you ain't getting it. You might as well turn around and walk home. But the links you can use and utilize for your resume. If you have articles that you've written for the Chanticleer, every Chanticleer that has ever been written is available online through the library. So if you've got articles that you've written, rather than how I've put a photo, that's actually a photo of the article. Rather than doing that, you can link directly to that article in the archives at the library. So if you've done writings, that's great. If you have interviews that you have posted on YouTube, all of my interviews that I've got on here, we'll go back to it. Portfolio. All of these interviews right here are links to Facebook and YouTube. I think all of these are Facebook. Facebook. Yeah, all of these are Facebook. But you can link it and see. And by embedding it into the website like that, did that come through and play for y'all?
It did.
Okay. By embedding it like that, it does not take someone away from your site. And that brings me to this point. Links are good, but you have to be careful because that directs them away from your website. Now, if you're doing a blog or a news article or something, it does the same thing. It's going to direct them away from your story. You don't want that. You want to keep them in your story. So be careful how they are embedded into your website. Chapter 9 is short, by the way. You can have sidebar links. And all these are, now I don't have sidebars on my page, but let's see. Oh, I know where I can go. Hang on. Close that. Close that. Close that. Go here. Let me log out. Uno momento. Go into this one. And y'all fixing to get a sneak peek of something. Because we have not launched this as of yet. We're getting ready to, but we have not launched it yet. So you guys are going to get a sneak peek. So you should feel privileged.
It depends on what it is.
Okay, now it's up. Screen share. There we go. This will be our new website for the radio station. And on the sides, you see, please visit our patrons. All of these we are going to make clickable to their website. We're going to make this one over here clickable to JSU, what is it? JSUGamecocksports.com. And we're doing an alumni page as well. So what do you think about the new look?
I like it.
Looks more like a radio station now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Rather than hang on. Rather than this. How boring is that?
It's very plain.
It is.
Yeah.
There is no eye appeal to this. And if you look, nowhere up top does it say listen live, does it? You have to scroll down to find the listen live link. Whereas on the new site, come on, computer, catch up with me. Bam! Listen live. I don't know if it ain't going to work with the share screen. Share screen's blocking us out. But the listen live link is right up top. It's just got a better aesthetic to it. So y'all privileged. Y'all got to see the new website. But it looks good, don't it?
Yeah, now I see the difference in between the old WLJS website and the new one. At least this one has more emphasis to it, and the last one it's just plain.
Yeah. Well, we're changing platforms for what we're building in. If you're doing a website to where you're going to be writing articles primarily, like a newspaper, WordPress is great. If you're going to do something that's got more video, more photos, more audio clips, I do not suggest WordPress at all. Me personally, I hate WordPress. Hate it with a passion. So, but you saw how we had the sidebar links for our patrons, for other pages, for JSU, the alumni. That way they can click those and see them. Now, again, number one, make sure your links work. Number two, Make sure you got permission to use the link, because legal and ethical issues related to the use of links are huge. All right. In nearly all cases, you can freely link to another person's page or organization's website. In general, it's acceptable because you're helping drive traffic to their website. However, it's likely that the organization you work for will place some restrictions on links that you can use. Unless your organization is involved in a partnership with the local TV station, you won't be able to link information on that station's website or websites from its competitors. That's like, we're the campus radio station of JSU, but we can't put University of Alabama or Auburn University on there. We're not going to. We're going to promote JSU and JSU only. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes, sir.
It goes back to the old saying, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. They're the ones that signing your paycheck. You tick them off, they're not going to be happy at all. All right. Moving on. Again, link maintenance. Make sure you go back about every month or so and make sure that your links are working. If you can do this, now this is a way to keep people on your site and using links. Some organizations will allow you to clone their pages within your site. But what it does is it allows people to come back to your own site a lot easier. When thinking about including external links in your story, you got to think about, I'm pushing people away from my site. How can I get them back? Well, in theory, your links in your story, with the hope that the user will explore where the link and then come back. They may not have that option. So you have to be careful with that.
So is there a way to embed like Chanticleer articles? Like if you've written them, because otherwise it would just be a link away from your site.
Yes, there is.
Okay.
It's a little bit cumbersome, but what you do is you go to that site, copy and paste every bit of the text, and then embed that into your own site. And what you can do, like, come here. Don't still have it up. All right, the picture of the article from the Chanticleer that I have on mine, what you can do is make it clickable to where it expands it out to where it's easier to read. And all they do is click it again and it expands it back in. And what you have to do there, Anna, is you have to basically do a screenshot of your screen while that article is up on your screen. I'm trying to get my hands right. While that article is up on your screen, you screenshot it, crop it out, make it into a photo. When you put that photo into your website, oh, my nose is itching, guys. I'm going to show you real quick. Let's see. I need one photo. That doesn't, that one will. Okay. Where you at? Nope, that ain't it. Settings. There it is. There we go. And save. Publish. Well, that ain't exactly what I was wanting. Sorry, guys. Down up. There we go. Went down too far. Trying to move too fast. Okay, now I can show you. What you do, get you back in the share screen. Okay, so I have taken one of the photos on here and done it just like that. I did the JSU football logo. So when you click it, it opens up larger, so it's easier to read, but you just simply close it out and you're right back where you were.
Mm.
And it's very simple to do. Let me switch screens and I'll show you how to do it real quick. Editor. There we go. Okay. So all you do is right click on your image and you're going to go to settings. And on settings, it says, okay, here's the image. And you can make your adjustments, adjust your color and everything else. Brightness. However you want it.
Mm-hmm.
You can put overlays, whatever in it. Save that. Sometime today, JSU Internet. Thank you. All right. Right here, when the image is clicked, this is where you would add the link, open in a pop-up, is what we're doing. Now, if you magnify it, all it's going to do is increase the size, but only right there where the image is. So you want to make it in a pop-up. And that puts up the pop-up screen over the top. So that way you can see it better. Cool?
Yeah.
Cool.
And Wix has that ability. Try to do that in WordPress. Mm-hmm. All right, your assignment for chapter 9. Try to find 5 to 10 good links that could be used in a story about how NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement, has affected your area. Just give me 5. Because again, this book is a lot older. So NAFTA has been it's dated. Brandon, were you able to find 5 links?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Are you going to be mad at me when I change this?
Now, what you got for me?
You're not going to have to do it. I'm going to leave you on NAFTA.
Okay.
But to make it a little bit easier for everybody else, I'm going to include COVID on this. Again, same as 8. Trump, COVID, and Minnesota. And
5 links for each or in total?
no, just in total.
Okay, gotcha.
No, I might be mean, but I'm not that mean. Jeez.
It's saying like in our area. Do you mean like in the United States or like Alabama area?
In the southeast.
Okay.
Okay.
And I am. Yeah, I had already changed it to the global pandemic of COVID. So let's just do COVID. I was just looking at that. So let's just do COVID. Forget Trump, forget Minnesota. COVID or NAFTA. One of the two.
Oh, I did a mixture of both of them.
That's fine.
Okay.
So we're not doing the Trump Minnesota COVID headlines assignment for 8.1.
No, still doing Trump, Minnesota, and COVID for 8-1.
Oh, this is just for chapter 9.
But for 9, just NAFTA or COVID.
Okay.
Trying to keep y'all relevant because this book is like old. I think this book was out in 18. All right, guys. I am getting a phone call. So real quick, any questions?
No, sir. I'm good.
No, sir.
All righty. I'll see you at 2, Brandon.
All right. Yes, sir.